Yeah, I mean, first of all, I'm not surprised at all that the amount of tools, particularly automation tools and AI-driven tools, especially the ones that kind of promise an end-to-end automation service around kind of lead generation, even to the point where, some of these tools kind of are closing deals for us potentially. I'm not, I think they have their place definitely, but I'm not surprised that a lot of them have led to what we're seeing now, which is this huge inbox fatigue, both email and now kind of pervading into LinkedIn as well. Um, but I do think that, as I said before, kind of challenge presents opportunity in a way. And I think it's a really good time to actually take a step back and look at where those tools have their place and where they don't. And particularly in terms of where some of them might promise personalization. I think personalization is really, really important to particularly the outreach side of things. And that really starts with a really, really insight, super tight driven understanding of your audience ultimately. So, who are you going after? What are their pain points? What are their goals? What are their objectives? I mean, talking about AI, this is something that AI can really help with. I love giving ChatGPT the persona of my audience and basically starting to ask it questions about what's going to resonate with it and using that for some of those more creative kind of insight driven approaches. But really, then, if you know your audience inside out, if you know how your solution helps to alleviate some of that pain and helps them to achieve those goals, but also broadly speaking, what are their other kind of challenges and where can some of your content, events, and things like that help to kind of speak to them and speak to those needs? That's a kind of really solid start. And I think that again goes a long way to kind of helping hone and also lift you above some of that AI driven noise, quite frankly. If you're honing in on something that deep down is something that is keeping them awake at night, and you're rising above all of that kind of very generic, very kind of not particularly personalized messaging, then that's kind of a great step one. I think from an outreach point of view, definitely looking at some of those creative tactics. I mean, I've stolen some ideas from you, Corinne, actually, in terms of some of my approaches. So, I've started running a community of prospects, basically, and it's taken a long time to get off the ground. But essentially, it's a big part of my target audience is creative leaders at B2B tech companies. So I've managed to kind of drag 50 or so of them into this closed community where we meet up once a month on Zoom. I've actually got one later today. We talk about certain issues that keep them awake at night, that affect them. I get straight from the horse's mouth, kind of the inside issues, also, and that can feed into some of our content. Um, but just kind of thinking outside of the box a little bit in terms of some of those drivers, and that's more of a long-term play. So I'm not suggesting that you kind of throw all your eggs in baskets like that. But just, examples of ways in which you can sell without feeling like being sold to effectively.